What is good, people? Rise and shine bright and early. It's WrestleQuest back talking pro wrestling with you guys. So make sure to hit all them buttons, subscribe, and let's talk in the comments. So I came across this clip, algorithmically in the shorts feed as one of my favorite wrestlers of all time. I always get a lot of shit about it, right? Everyone busts my balls, and I keep it real, we're talking about the Pearl River powerhouse, Ahmed Johnson. And now, with everything that's revealed, kayfabe being broken the way in which it is, with the shoot interviews and a lot of stuff in the internet era that we see, it's clear Ahmed Johnson was his own worst enemy. And that's just a fact. Being a big fan of the guy, you see just a lot of people did not like him. And there's all kinds of different allegations and stories and stuff like that. But back then, man, Ahmed was crazy over. He was supposed to get a world title shot on two different occurrences, right? When he won that, after he was the IC champ, when he won that battle royal on Raw and ended up getting hurt when Farooq debuted, and when he had the heel turn and joined the Nation. And that's where this clip comes from that someone threw up. It's kind of funny. They put together like Ahmed Johnson, Farooq gave him someone to lean on, and is playing that "We all need somebody to lean on." And it's just some comedy, someone threw it together in the shorts. But in the comments, you see one person saying just, again, that how unlikable Ahmed was. And one person says, Ahmed just wanted to do it his way, and that was disrespectful with his bad attitude towards everybody in the locker room, especially to a legend like Ron Simmons. And we know they had real life heat. Someone else says, they put 666, right? Yes, symbolism. No. One of the things that was told in numerous interviews about Ahmed Johnson and his story and his upbringing was that he joined the Bloods. He was in a gang, as you see right in this interview here from some years back. It says, the interview starts with Ahmed being asked about his home life. Ahmed said grew up going back and forth between Indiana and Florida. He adds that his father was extremely abusive to him and describes it as a living hell. I think this was like an 06 shoot interview we did. As the interview progresses, you will find out a great deal just what he meant. At age 13, Ahmed joined the Bloods. He eventually did join the military, calling it one of the highlights of his life, and said he was graduated at the top of his class, but it was bittersweet because while everyone else had family there, he did not. And it goes on to say how he played baseball, football, track, etc. And that's something something to wrestle about. Good old JR was saying when things ran its course and Ahmed Johnson was kind of on his way out and he had made a lot of enemies backstage, JR was saying that Ahmed's maybe told some lies, that he was supposed to be on the Super Bowl Dallas Cowboys team and that he couldn't find any remnants of it, or him being in the NFL at all. And something about his dad being in the NFL as well. I don't know. He just had a lot to say. And like I said, you see it all over with all these cats. They just really don't like Ahmed. But yeah, that definitely ain't no devil sign. He's throwing up the blood sign. And we're talking about his heel turn. It's like so crazy. Like I said, there was just like Ahmed Johnson was in reality, I think, going to be the first black pro wrestling champion. You know what I mean? Like, again, he was supposed to get the title shot when he was the IC champ. He was tagging with Shawn Michaels. They were just coming off International Incident. He was supposed to get the title match the night after SummerSlam, which was Vader. Shawn beat Vader. But because of his injury, he had to vacate the title. And then they had like another battle royal with like the last few people remaining. And Goldust won it and got that title shot against Shawn Michaels. But jumping over to what we were talking about here, this heel turn, I don't know if he was going to win the title then. He switched it up, turned heel, Pearl River plunged The Undertaker, joined the Nation. And, he was at the top of the card. And it's like we see what ended up happening with The Rock, how he joined the Nation and ended up taking it over, kicking Farooq out the whip and going on to win the world title. I'm not saying everything that happened with The Rock was going to happen with Ahmed Johnson. Obviously, The Rock got himself crazy over being on the mic and just developing that heel turn in his mic work. Like, The Rock was the truth, you know what I'm saying? But there was definitely more there for Ahmed Johnson. And that's where I wanted to get into talking about this real life heat with Farooq. There's a story that Mark Henry told on the Stone Cold podcast that has circulated around the net, right? Where he says when Farooq came back from an injury that Ahmed hurt him, Farooq stomped on Ahmed, broke his ribs, pinned him in the middle of the ring, and he just was never the same and left shortly after. There's all this debate and dispute when exactly this happened. And, Ahmed obviously got injured, like I was talking about, when he was supposed to get that title shot, when Farooq debuted and kicked him in the ribs, hurt his kidney, and he vacated that IC title, never got that world title shot. And I don't know when it was that he hurt Farooq. Some people say it's this clip right here. I don't know when exactly it was. But what I do know, this heel turn with the Nation, there's interviews out there where D-Lo and other individuals talk about it, how Farooq and everyone in the Nation just couldn't work with them and literally went to creative and said, listen, get him the fuck up out of here. And this was pretty much, I think, his only TV match with the Nation. You see, he came out with different ring attire on, different music, which that Ahmed Johnson theme was fire. You know what I mean? But they did like a Pearl River rip mixed with the Nation theme, and it was a banger. I liked it. But if you guys recall the way that it went, it like made no sense. Ahmed was a fan favorite, doing his thing. Came back from that injury after having to vacate the IC title and all that. Wrestled the Nation, was going at it with Farooq, feuding with him, had a big payoff at WrestleMania where the Road Warriors and Ahmed beat the Nation. And then, 4 or 5 months later, he joins the Nation, turns on The Undertaker, and is positioned at the top of the card. Once again, supposed to get that world title shot at Canadian Stampede. It doesn't happen. Vader takes his place, and he ends up wrestling this match here, and Chains working the knee. That leads me to believe that he wasn't actually hurt that match against Taker. I don't know, but it's clear as day that them just kicking him out of the Nation this quick and jumping him like that, it made no sense booking wise. Again, like Ahmed, don't like him, whatever. He was over like crazy. He's at the top of the card. He's finally going to get a world title match again. They're elevating him. He turned on The Undertaker, and they audible up out of that. So immediately just kick him up out of the Nation. It makes no sense. And that plays back into that real life heat with Ron Simmons that we've heard about, and there's stories. Briscoe talked about it, everyone, that they just said, hey, we can't work with him. He won't listen. The Godfather talks about it as well, where he was saying like, I don't talk ish about him the way that a lot of the other guys do, like D-Lo and everything like that. And there's a story about D-Lo stretching him and getting the best of him when they had a little scrap. But he talks like they were trying to help Ahmed, and Ahmed Johnson was an egomaniac and just wouldn't listen. You know what I'm saying? And someone commented in this comment thread too, saying that now Farooq and Ahmed have squashed the issue as of late. I don't know that that's true or not. I hope that it is, but I just don't believe it to be true. But, it's just clear as day. Ahmed pissed a lot of people off, and definitely had some character flaws, and that's once again coming from someone who was a super fan of him. But when it comes to the whole injury thing in the heat with Ron Simmons, what do you guys think about when Ron Simmons debuted and kicked him in the kidney and all that? And when do you think about this timeline of when Ahmed injured Farooq and then when Farooq came back and injured him? You know, the way Mark Henry tells it, Ahmed just recklessly did this for no reason. And at the end of the day, even if someone did hurt you on some reckless-ish, like whether you believe that that's what Farooq did or not, if it was unprofessional or whatever, you don't go out there and do the same ish in that manner. I mean, I guess sometimes guys got to get a receipt, but I've just never been able to really lay this timeline out. You know what I'm saying? When he hurt Farooq and Farooq came back and broke his ribs and just pummeled him and pinned him and pretty much, like Mark Henry says, just ended Ahmed Johnson in the ring. You know, Wise lost all the momentum and everything like that, but also behind the scenes that no one was fucking with him anymore. He pissed everyone off. And, you know, like I said, you go to JR's podcast, Grilling with JR or whatever, with Conrad, when they talk about Ahmed Johnson, that Ahmed was like trying to bully him. And Godfather stood in and was like, nah, man, we ain't doing that. And it was kind of like Ahmed's time had came and gone, and it passed him all up. And I don't know. I pointed out, like I said, people give me shit all the time. The Pearl River Powerhouse was my favorite wrestler. Even if you hate him, you say he's stiff, he's this, he's that, the man was over. And he was supposed to be not only the first black IC champion, the first black world champion, WWE-wise. Ahmed has stated in some interviews he thinks that's where the initial heat came from with Farooq, being that Farooq in WCW became the first black world champion. And, you know, like that, he looked at him as competition or something like that. I'm paraphrasing with that. But Ahmed has said so much, you know what I'm saying? Something along those lines, like, yo, he hurt me first. What are y'all talking about? But that's about it for this one. Just wanted to talk this out with all y'all out there. This pro wrestling blog. I seen this guy having this video making it like Ahmed was throwing up some devil signs or something. It's like, nah, man. He was throwing up that blood sign. And it just got me thinking about Ahmed Johnson, his career, his heel turn, joining the Nation, how nothing came from it. You know, those big payoffs, the title match with Shawn or the title match with Taker after his heel turn, those never happened. The only real big payoff that came was the match against with LOD against the Nation at WrestleMania. But then he turns heel, and I don't know, he's thrown out of there so quick at the conclusion of this match with Chains, and you know, it just didn't make sense. He went back to doing the same thing until he was up out of the company. But there y'all have it. I want to hear everyone's thoughts on all these talking points and what we're talking about. Subscribe to the channel. Stay tuned for more pro wrestling content where we talk about old wrestling, new wrestling, and everything in between. It's WrestleQuest signing up out of here. Peace.